Hi there, and welcome back to Less Marvelless with me, your co-host Josh.
And you're the co-host Lauren.
Normally on the Marvelless podcast, we take a movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and put it in a battle to the death against the rest of cinema. However, on our off weeks, we talk about whatever we want. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Wings from 1927.
Mm-hmm.
Famous for being the first film to be nominated for the Best Picture at the Oscars. It's a timely episode. Ooh. But before all of that, the most important thing in my mind is, how are you, Lauren?
Oh, I'm really good, thank you. I'm much better than the last time you probably heard me.
Yeah. You're not off your nut. You're doing better.
How are you?
Oh, I'm absolutely fine, thank you. I went to the doctor's the other day. He told me I was fat, which was really nice of him.
Oh yeah, it's the doctor's favourite thing, that is.
Yeah, he says you're fat, get 10,000 steps a day, drink water, eat vegetables. It's like, I wish I'd been to a doctor's appointment that wasn't like this ever in my life.
It's almost like you're a woman, because that's everything that you said. If you go in there, like my arm's falling off, it really hurts. And they'll just say, oh, it's probably your hormones. You need to lose some weight.
How much water did you have a day?
0, but still.
Well, I can say one thing, Lauren. This delicious Corona Extra is made of sparkling spring water.
Oh. Refreshing. This podcast won't be sponsored by Corona anytime soon.
No, well, good. I want to be sponsored by a proper beer company like Old Speckled Hen.
Oh, God. Old man beer, that is.
Well, for our old men listening. Wait, do old men listen to the podcast, or is it like young tweens?
I don't actually know. I should probably check.
Or are we a 4-quadrant podcast? Lauren, what are the 4 quadrants?
I have no idea.
Taylor Swift fans, I assume. Because
yeah,
she comes up. She comes up every episode. I assume people that like Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Although this is kind of I'd say this is a stronger anti-Marvel podcast than it is a stronger anti-Taylor Swift podcast.
It's becoming an anti-Marvel podcast as time goes on.
Look, Marvel just needs to pick up their act. That's all that, and beat the rest of cinema. It's a small task. We're just asking 25 films to be better than the rest of cinematic history.
It's not a small task, is it?
The third quadrant, I assume, is the never nude community. I'm gonna assume. And then fourth, crypto bros, I guess.
That is a pretty niche audience.
Yeah. How strong was this beer?
Like 4%.
Yeah, 4.5%.
Oh, that's not the tequila beer, is it? It's not.
No, that's
Desperados.
yeah, or Amigos as well, I think.
Never heard of it. Old.
Yeah.
I'm old now.
I was about, oh, you know, and the Alco Pops WD-40. That's not. You know what? I
bloody love a WKD.
I bet if you drank WD-40, you would get fucked up.
Oh, not in a good way.
Not to date the podcast instantly, tonight is the night of the Superb Owl.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Tay-Tay's somewhere in a private jet zooming around.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I think she should be back by now.
So a private jet has landed.
I don't know what time it is in America. I don't know what time the game starts.
I know she's trying to sue that lad on Threads that posts people's private plane flight statistics.
Why?
Because she can normally defend herself under the guise of feminism, can't she? But you can't use that to defend the use of your private jet. Yeah. I'm just girl bossing up here I'm CEOing in my private jet.
Surely that information's available on like flight logs and stuff.
But it's public information. You can track any flight anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, well, 'cause that guy, it might be the same guy. I'm not sure. There used to be a guy on Twitter that tracked. How strong was that beer? There used to be a guy on Twitter that tracked Elon's jet until he got kicked off Twitter.
Oh, what?
I did see one the other day where Taylor did take a 13-minute flight.
To where? The same state.
Yeah, I doubt they serve an in-flight meal for that, do they? Unless she's scoffing.
Crazy.
Speaking of flights, Lauren, this was a really good segue. You wouldn't believe it. It's all in my brain. I know what I'm doing. As mentioned at the top of the show, for today's episode, me and Lauren watched Wings from 1927. Which is, have you ever seen or heard of Wings before, Lauren?
I had not seen or heard of Wings before until you sort of like dropped it in my lap and was like, we're going to watch this. Had you seen it before?
I'd seen clips of it because it's one of those groundbreaking like cinematography movies, which is something that we'll get into. And I'd never seen it from top to tail ever.
Yeah.
I was not expecting about it. I was not expecting a man kissing another man.
No.
I was not expecting any nudity. There is lots of nudity in the film.
Is there?
Yeah, you see naked men in the background of one of the shots, and you see that woman's bare chest for like 4 frames as well.
Racy.
And I was not expecting it to have colour on frame special effects.
Oh yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah. And I was also, and then of course the biggest and my favourite twist, I was not expecting the Paramount logo.
I didn't even notice. Terrible. Wasn't looking out for the logos.
Yeah, brought to us by our boys at Paramount Pictures, the OG best Oscar winners. So maybe there's a lovely and quite nice point to be made in the fact that Paramount obviously has, people may or may not know, depending on how much this podcast have listened to. Paramount have made every Marvel movie so far in the point we're up to in the MCU. And obviously those films are notoriously, I say, snubbed at the Oscars. I don't think those films are Oscar worthy.
No.
Maybe we should start with just a bit of dialogue about how much do you care about the Oscars, Lauren?
I don't personally.
Yeah.
It's just a load of old. Not like it's not. I think it's an important thing to acknowledge people and like the work that they do and the art that they make. But I think the what's the word? Not like royalty of it, but like the.
It's a bit elitist, isn't it?
That's the word. The elitism of it. It's just too much. Like, if you're not watching like a film in black and white with like in French subtitles, it's unlikely going to be in like an Oscar-worthy film. It's just kind of that kind of thing that I don't like about it. But I think they're starting to get slightly better.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree with what you said, and like I think the Oscars has decided that it's got to change or it's got to die. Basically, I don't like the Oscars at all. I think there should be a way of celebrating art without making it a contest.
I was just about to say, like people competing against each other. It's just like when we started our film course, it was just set up as a one big competition. Like 3 years of your life, one of you's going to win best film at the end. It's kind of like not a great way to like encourage teamwork and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And like speaking of that elitist, the first Oscar ceremony was like a private dinner for like I think like 200 people or something.
Wow.
Like it's got its roots in like, I'm gonna be paraphrasing history here. If I do get it wrong, people feel email in and correct me, because I'll happily read it out on the podcast. But this is just my like understanding of the Oscars, is that it was set up basically to stop filmmakers from forming unions. Like, in the early film industry, all the people who knew how to make sets and do lights were people from the theatre, and the theatre people were all union because they'd already done their whole "oh fuck, no one here gets paid," and they're still in that. Like, the theatre people in theatre still struggle with that kind of stuff, but in an attempt to make it so actors and filmmakers didn't start joining unions, they were like, "Oh no, we're all artists. We're going to get together and have a gala and celebrate the artists that we are." That is my understanding, at least. Again, if it's wrong, themarvellouspodcast@gmail.com. Email in, tell me. Love to hear it.
That sounds about exactly right, to be fair. Of how snobby it comes across.
Yeah, I think the big thing that I really struggle with the Oscars is the voting committee tends to be producers of movies and actors for movies, and I'm like, you're telling me these people have no?
But how do they get on this committee? Like, what qualifies them to be on this committee?
I think moolah is a big thing.
Well, just looking at this committee here, it's mainly full of old white men. Mm-hmm. There is a few women. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women. And not a single one of these people look like they are under 30.
Yeah, well, you know, they're the people with their pulse on cinema, old white dudes. I'm certain fucking Barbie went down like a lead balloon when they were watching that.
Yeah, not like, I would say 95% of this board of committee would not enjoy Barbie.
Well, Will Smith was on it until he did that slap, wasn't he? And then he got removed.
Was he?
Yeah, because the worst thing anyone's ever done in Hollywood is slap somebody
on stage. Yeah.
Yeah. How dare he?
It was really stupid, but still.
I mean, it was that's probably the most interesting thing to happen at the Oscars since they said La La Land out and they meant Moonlight.
So
funny. Yeah, so between us, I like how we both call it the Oscars. Well, we won't call it the Academy Awards, which is what it's actually called.
Everyone calls it the Oscars, though.
Yeah, they do.
It's not the academyawards.org, it's oscars.org.
Yeah, because they're the Academy, Lauren. Yeah, so the Marvellous podcast stance on the Marvellous podcast stance on the Oscars is
Meh.
It's all made up and it's not important, and we should probably not make film making a contest and make the Oscars a celebration of film.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a plot synopsis, or I didn't make any notes, so do you want to just talk about it?
Yeah, we can just talk about it.
Yeah. You know what? We want to talk about it in the way we normally would rank a film anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, the film overall, what did you think of Wings as an entirety?
I was surprisingly impressed.
Yeah.
Because for a 1927 film, I was, like a black and white film, a silent film. And I was just kind of like, oh, I can't see how this is going to be that good. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to be that entertaining. It's just going to be a typical black and white film. And it really wasn't that. I was so surprised by it. I was shocked by the kind of film, like the shots that they got in the film. I was like, is that a real plane? Are they flying a camera around in the air? I just couldn't believe what they were managing to achieve at that time. And like, even they had some of the most interesting shots I've seen for a really long time.
Yeah.
And just like, even like, I think that right at the beginning when they're introduced to that, I think it's Sylvia, like the other love interest of the boys of David, yeah. And they were sitting together on a swing and the camera's there on a swing moving with them, and I was just like, surely these cameras are massive, how are they doing this?
Yeah, I think it's when you're watching stuff like this, it's always important to remember how big cameras used to be. And cameras are still big now because we get a camera that's basically a laptop and you put 100 other fucking laptops on it. But like, they were just big old bastards.
Yeah.
Like, and you're right. Some of the shot choices. It's one of the best shot films I've seen in a while, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a film that turns 100 in 3 years.
Yeah. It's crazy. I just couldn't believe like the amount of action. It's like an action film.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is in 1927. Like, how
Yeah.
on earth have they achieved this? And then just even like some small shots. Like there was a shot where he's drinking in that bar. And all the bubbles across the tables.
Yes.
And I was like, what? How are they doing that?
So that shot, the camera is on rails, but mounted above.
Oh, at the top. Yeah, that's like the only way that they could have done it. But I was just like, what?
That's I know,
crazy.
Right? Like, that shot is referenced in The Last Jedi.
Oh, really?
Where like it goes through a bar and in the exact same way, and it's going through all those stories as well, and like it is like that's the iconic shot when I was like seeing like great shots in cinema history. That is always the shot.
Yeah, that was so good.
It's like I think like you, I was expecting, and if this is not the word you want to use, I understand. I was expecting a much more naive movie. Like, it makes you realise, in 27, they had been making films for like, what we would probably recognise as films or call films for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, people were starting to really push the envelope of, like, what can we do? And, like, because it started to make money, so it was profitable, and then it became profitable to do more exciting things.
Yeah.
Like we're in the era of Hollywood where it's profitable to not rock the boat at all. Like we're like, do it safe, be safe, everything's safe, you know. Which is why I think everything everywhere all at once last year really rocked the Oscars.
Yeah.
Because it was like, no, we are going to push the boat out. We are going to like push cinema, like bend cinema to the point where it almost snaps, but just to prove how flexible the form is.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that film so much.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, just to think that Wings won the same Oscar that did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading, like, I glanced at the Wikipedia page earlier, and like when it came out, it was received amazingly. Like, people couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all of like the aerial cinematography, like that is just people on planes filming other people.
It's insane, and I don't know if it's me being naive because I haven't watched that many 1927 films, but it's not something I would imagine that you would have seen very much.
No.
Or if at all. And I was just completely blown away. I was like, how is this happening in 1927?
Yeah. Like, I would love to watch another popular film from the year now and be like, oh, okay. And well, like, is that thing where it's when I was starting to get into the Beatles as a lad, I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to other music from the same time. And you go, oh no, the Beatles were so popular because the rest of it is hacky shit. Like, the reason things become iconic is because they are iconic. Like, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I think that's maybe like, if you what year, like what won the, like what year did La La Land win? Not Moonlight win Best Picture.
2018 maybe, or 2017.
Yeah. Do you reckon that was like the most like super duper iconic movie of that year?
I don't know. I never got around to watching it.
No, I don't know anyone who's ever seen Moonlight.
I really did want to watch it. It was on my list, and I just never got round to it. I watched La La Land like 7 times, so it was really good. I enjoyed that.
I liked his I liked the film he did after that, First Man. I really liked First Man.
With Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, playing
Neil Armstrong.
That's it. I was going to call him Lance Armstrong. Like, that's the trumpet guy.
What?
Yeah, isn't Lance Armstrong and the cyclist as well? Aren't they both Lance Armstrong?
I have no idea. I didn't know there was a trumpet man called Lance Armstrong.
I'm this much into this beer, so you have to forgive me. Oh yeah, so that bar scene. Well, actually, we can use this a step into acting.
Okay.
What did you think of people's performances? Because again, I was like, everyone was like amazing in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
None of it was hammy, I think.
No.
Like when you think silent films, I think it's the obviously when you watch any piece of art, you bring your own personal bias to it. When I think of black and white films, I always think of like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and Laurel and Hardy. Like the silent films I've seen are like all comedies. I've not really watched the silent dramas, and like we've moved beyond like the German expressionist acting of like Metropolis, and like it is very grounded. Apart from the comedy like Swedish guy who was doing like a big dopey performance, and a bit of the ditzy woman as well. Yeah. Like everyone's giving a really grounded, like naturalistic performance, and they can't use their voice.
No, I felt like it was really well acted. Like I was expecting, like, you know, they're really over dramatic, like hand on the head, like just like really over dramatic acting, like when they have to completely act with their face rather than their words. But I feel like they put across their emotion amazingly well in a really subtle way.
Yeah, this film, because we're not in the era of mid-shot filmmaking, actual mid-shots of people are really powerful because most of it is shot quite wide. Like, when you do get, like, a one-er or a two-er of just a person, and you can really, like, it really sells these moments. Like, again, all the films we watch, I'd say probably about 80% of it is mid-shots of people. You know, shot on a 50mm lens, bokeh background.
Yeah. That's the easiest way to do it, isn't it? You don't have to edit. Yeah. Two people in a shot.
And, you know, it's like, basically every film looks like a podcast recording now. The close-ups as well, there's some really gorgeous close-ups, like detail shots. So like a element of the film is that all pilots have like Lucky Charms, and the close-ups of people's Lucky Charms are like really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
Especially if like one of the pilots is a little bear who's basically kind of I guess he's a bit of a MacGuffin, I guess.
Is that?
He's a plot device, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's used at the end. Like it's not like something completely unusable.
No. Well, so I used the wrong film. He's Chekhov's toy bear.
Oh, okay.
We see him in Act 1, and he returns in Act 3.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apart from actually, one pilot doesn't have a Lucky Charm. We meet him. He's a really cool, handsome, tall, maybe the most handsome guy in the film. And like he talks about how he doesn't need a Lucky Charm, and then dies moments later in a plane crash. And I was like, that's pretty funny. It's like it's like the start of the Other Guys, where The Rock and Samuel Jackson jump off the roof of that building, where you introduce to the coolest guys in the world, and they die instantly.
Oh, I don't think I think we went to. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it.
Yeah, and Will Ferrell.
I think we went to watch it, and it was like on my PlayStation 4 at uni or something. Yeah. The DVD would just not play, and Lee absolutely lost his mind with it and snapped it off.
Oh no!
So I don't think we've ever watched it.
Well, that was spoiler alert. Samuel Jackson and The Rock die maybe 2.5 minutes into the movie.
So it's like the Suicide Squad. Like,
yeah,
they're like, look at us. We got the Suicide Squad. Gone.
Yeah, like literally. There's got to be a name for that. Is that the bait and switch, I guess? Or is that...
Maybe.
Who knows? If only I knew all these if only we were taught any of these filmmaking terms in our writing classes that we took.
Wow.
Yeah, so the scene in the bar in Paris where that guy's getting drunk, he actually got blasted.
Was he actually that drunk?
He was 22 years old, and had never drank before because of the drinking age in America. So he'd never really had a drink before, and they gave him actual champagne. So he got his drunk acting. He's actually just wasted.
Oh my god, that's funny. I really like that like Bubbles animation. I thought it was just magical.
Yeah, it is like showing the film to me. Is like, I understand why it won Best Picture. It's like a showcase of like everything a film can do. It's like we can do this multi-projection thing. Like we can double expose a film. Like and like the matching up of the spaces was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people do that digitally, stuff like that digitally, and the tracking on the bottom's worse. Trying to think what other scenes I really liked. I liked. So I think the thing is I can't pick out exact scenes because I did like all of it.
Yeah,
you know,
I did.
It dragged a bit towards the end. Like I think the one thing they've not learnt in these films yet is telling the story through the battle scene. The battles are happening and you're just watching the battles, but it's not like pushing any kind of narrative. No. You are just like watching fighting.
Yeah, there was just planes flying about shooting each other.
Yeah, and it's like, and again, probably impressive to do and to make, but not necessarily narratively, like, you know, narratively forward a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it wasn't moving anything forward, was it?
Yeah, I'm drinking champagne. What else? So yes, we've kind of touched on the cinematography already, but the cinematography,
it was just so unreal. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. Just like all the different shot choices, it was just beautiful.
Yeah,
it was beautiful to watch. The action scene was like a full-on action movie, and how they were on those planes, and I was just blown away about how they were just on a plane with these film cameras.
Yeah,
having them work while they were like up in the air like that. It was just crazy.
Yeah, because part of me was like, when I was watching it, before I started Googling whilst watching it, I was like, this has got to be rear projection. Otherwise, I had to teach all these actors how to fly, and they just taught all the actors how to fly planes.
But because I was watching it, I was like that can't be like faked. Like how it was, it just didn't look fake at all. And I was like, that can't be. They can't have just been like sitting on a lot shaking a plane.
Yeah,
it just looked too real. So I know there might be some scenes like that, but there's definitely scenes where they were up in a plane on like a single shot of an actor.
Yeah. So the guy directed William. It's like William Wilson, I think, or something like that. It's a double W.
William Wellman, yeah.
William Wellman was a pilot in World War One.
Yeah.
Which is why he was so driven to make this movie. And because the film starts with basically a dedication to everyone who died in World War One.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say one thing: it doesn't make the Germans look like bad people. Like they're not like inherent. I know they're like big bomber planes, got like a skull and crossbones on it, but like the Germans don't necessarily come across as very evil. Just people who are involved in this war.
I don't think they were super evil in World War One. Though I was googling it. Like I was like, what happened in World War One? Not very World War One aficionado. I was like. Isn't World War Two when Hitler's like, you know, fuck you.
World War One was basically members of our royal family were like, I'd like all the bits that you have. Let's kill all the poor people, decide who gets to keep it.
I read it. I was reading about it. Someone shot someone in Austria, and that started a war.
Franz Ferdinand, I believe, was killed.
Yeah.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand by the Black Hand Gang, I believe.
No idea. I didn't know that.
I believe they did 3 assassination attempts on him that day, and only the third one worked.
Desperate to get rid of him.
Yeah, this first one, I believe they threw a bomb into his car and he just threw it out.
Not today, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. World War One had a different vibe.
Wow. Sorry, this just really tickled me.
I do like the concept that it was a bomb with like a big fuse on it as well.
Just some TNT wrapped together. Don't want any of this, thank you.
Oh, speaking of TNT, there's a scene in the film where the main lady runs away from some explosions behind her. And I was just thinking of what the director had to say. So you're going to run down this street and the things are going to blow up behind you. Basically, run quicker than the explosions are going to happen. Because we can't fake it, so we are just going to have to blow up the ground behind you.
Bless her.
Yeah, and saying she, what's her name? Clara Bow?
Clara Bow, yeah.
Yeah, she was Paramount Pictures' like main lady at the time and didn't want to be in the movie.
I can't believe that she was Paramount's main lady and they were letting her walk around with her eyebrows like that. And then I googled her. I was like, oh, it must have just been for this film. Her eyebrows were always like that.
They were not on fleek.
No. Listeners, her eyebrows were just like a pencil. They shaved her eyebrows off and drew a single line above her eye. A thin line. It was crazy. At first, I wrote down like, what happened to Mary's eyebrows? Because I didn't realise they weren't always crazy. And then they're in that bar where the bubbles are going, and then I've written, "Oh, is this song I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles?" And then I had to Google it if that song was that old, and it is. I think it was.
Wow.
And then I've written here, "Oh, her eyebrows were always crazy," because there's like a flashback scene.
So, yeah, the version that me and Lauren watched was the, I believe, Paramount something like reissue of it, where they'd cleaned it up and made it HD basically. When the film was first released, it didn't have sync sound or sound effects because it's just 27. You didn't really do that for movies. No. But when the film started to get traction, they commissioned sync sound and sound effects for it.
Oh, okay.
So we watched our version of it, but people who were watching it at the time probably wouldn't have seen it with that music.
Ah, okay.
That's a very interesting period of film history where I don't know whether the audience may or may not know this. Here's some nice history for you. Sync sound wasn't the done thing for, again, about 20, 30 years of cinema. You didn't record sound on set because it was basically impossible. The cameras were too loud and the microphones were too quiet.
Mm.
So it was like, to record people talking on set, it was just going to be impossible.
Yeah.
And so films used to just be released silently and people would watch them silently. But then cinemas started to you could buy film music sheets, which were just like, if your film has got a tense scene, the band should play this song here. And then some bright spot went, should we be writing music for the films? And so then they started to do that. And then films will come with music written for them.
Mm.
And then when PA systems got better in cinemas, they started releasing sync sound, which initially was just music, and then eventually became sound effects. Can you tell that that's my like specialty of history? I've literally taught that at university before. Normally it takes longer than this and there's more detail. But
wow. No, well, according to the Wikipedia page, it was released in 1927 and then quickly re-released in 28 with synchronized sound.
There you go. Yeah, because 28 would be the release of people always say that The Jazz Singer is the first film of sync sound, but it's not. It's a film that came out a few months before it. It's not Don Quixote, but it is a name like that.
Would you like me to Google it?
Yeah.
Don Juan.
Don Juan. Did I say Don Juan?
Yeah, you said like Don Quixote or Don Juan or something like that. Yeah.
That's your first film with sync sound. editing. I couldn't really say anything too much about the editing. It wasn't clunky.
No, I don't. I felt like it didn't have a lot of pace.
No.
Like we were just kind of like slowly meandering through the film. It could have definitely not been nearly 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, the kind of rule is every film can lose 10%. This film could probably lose about 30.
Yeah. But like the action scenes were really well shot. The only thing I would have said was I was a bit confused at the end, but I think that's because I didn't realise it was that other guy in the plane.
You didn't realise it was Dave in the plane.
Not until he was like dying. I was like, oh, it was him in the plane. Oh, he crashed the plane.
I will say about that scene, I found that scene to be like tragic.
It was really sad.
And it ends with like so the main two characters, one ends up killing the other one in spoiler alert for a film that came out 100 years ago. That's on you for not watching it. He shoots him down in a plane because he's flying an enemy plane because he's escaped from a prisoner of war camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he watches his best friend die, and he gives him this like tender kiss, and it's just like. It's like heart-wrenching.
I put Dave and Jack was the real love story all along.
Well, that's the thing. Like that is the love story here. It's like Wings is public domain. Like you could remake that as like an LGBTQ plus love story so easily. Like you wouldn't even have to change the script.
No.
It's got the same vibe as Saltburn in places. It's like... tangent. Our bath plug broke this morning. And all the water was stuck in there. And like, I was like, am I going to have to Saltburn this water out of this bath?
Delicious.
And we used a Lush bath bomb as well, so the water was all like bluey and like gonna get really.
Have you seen that? I don't know if it's a meme or if it's real, but there's a Saltburn Lush bath bomb, and I don't know if it's a meme or if it was real. I did Google it.
Oh, that's great. They normally do like Mother's Day or like pumpkins.
Saltburn flavoured.
Well, what's the shape of it?
I don't know. I think it was just like a bar of soap, but it just, left the water that sort of colour.
Oh. Listen to our Saltburn episode, true believers.
So where are we on our list?
I guess it would be sound next. Kind of hard to rate the sound. It's a silent movie.
No. Well, I like the scene where the bubbles were going, and I was sitting there going, is this like Forever Blowing Bubbles? I was like, that can't be that song. It can't be that old, because I just know it as a West Ham song.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not just a West Ham song.
Are you telling me that West Ham owed the makers of Wings maybe some royalties?
Maybe. I think it was before either of those.
Costume?
I really liked their outfits, and like when the women were dressed up, they had really beautiful costumes on.
Oh, speaking of beautiful women and beautiful costumes, in that bit where it's going through all the lovers in the bar, and like there's the couples arguing, 2 of them are women, and I was like, is that some more LGBTQ representation in this movie from 1927?
Wow.
It's like, is this film pre-woke? Like,
maybe it was normal before everything got shit.
Yeah, I find the whole culture war thing to be very tiring, and it's interesting because it's because the good thing about the culture war is that culture's definitely losing. There has been representation of people who are not straight white people in art since the beginning of art.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this film from the 20s, which emotional climax is a man kissing another man on the lips would send Twitter, would make Twitter like combust into a ball of flames now. But in the 20s, people are like, this is the best film I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, we have people in culture have regressed in their views.
No, I think so. I think that would be a totally normal thing. Like, that's a person that he loves. He's kissing his friend goodbye.
Yeah. It's like, and like, we're only shocked by it because, I don't know, I can't speak for you here, Lauren, but like, I just wouldn't expect that.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, but that's what people are taught, isn't it? Like, men don't kiss men. That's not the manly thing to do. That's what we've been taught for the last 50...
since Wings came out.
Yeah.
Tell you one thing, Lauren. Men come in this house, they get kissed.
Oh, God.
Ooh, I should have a beer every time I do an episode. I think I look like I've had a beer. I don't know what about me.
You're looking a bit squiffy-eyed.
That's just how I look, Lauren. It's like when the doctor called me fat the other day. That's how I am, mate. Then he gave me my weight in kilograms as well. It's like, thanks for saying I'm fat and giving me a maths problem.
Oh, that is annoying. Like when I was pregnant, they were like, "Oh, like whatever kilos." I was like, "What?" Like, why don't then I'm like, "What is wrong with me? Why don't I understand kilos?"
It's because you've never been taught it ever in your life.
No. When did they start teaching kilos, man? How old am I?
I was taught pound and stone.
The same.
It's like the thing you get in kilograms is bags of sugar.
Yeah. Like, oh, I want a kilogram of this in my food. Okay, yeah, I get you. 200 grams? I know what you mean. How many grams and kilograms I am? I have no idea.
He was like, you're 85 kilograms. You need to be about 75. I was like, 10 kilograms? That can't be too much. That's 2 fucking stone.
I need to be like my actual BMI. I need to lose something like 9 stone. It's insane.
Fuck, it's impossible. BMI was good when it was invented at the time of Wings, when rationing was happening. You know? Look at The Rock. You telling me his BMI is good? He's probably
I bet you he can't run very far though.
Nah.
He doesn't do. I can't see him doing cardio.
He certainly does cardio.
Oh, I'll not have you speak against the Scorpion King.
So would you recommend people watch Wings?
I would definitely recommend watching it. It's a really big surprise. It's a lot more enjoyable than you would think a 1927 film would be.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think a film that you can watch for free on YouTube as well because it's public domain.
Yeah,
you've literally got no excuse not to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, unless you don't have 2.5 hours free of your life.
Yeah, well, watch it in 2 halves like I did.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I'm watching all my films recently.
Yeah, I'm actually... And tell you one thing about Wings. Wings has an intermission.
It does.
It has a stop this film at this point, come back to it. And I went, okay, Wings, I'll see you later.
In the actual film, though, it's only like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I skipped through the intermission then, carried on watching for a bit. And then at some point I fell asleep and woke up. And then I was like, I'm going to just stop now. Try again another day.
I'm glad that you're the one that falls asleep during the films, Lauren, and not me.
I'm over 30 now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm heading to 40. I can barely last through a film these days. Like, if I'm laying down on that sofa watching a film, guaranteed to fall asleep.
But when you see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool say chimichanga down the camera lens, you'll be standing up and cheering. We are probably T-minus 4 hours from the Deadpool 3 trailer, Lauren.
Oh, really? Do you think we'll get any other movie trailers today?
We'll probably get a trailer. What are the big Super Bowl? Probably one for Dunkin' Donuts and probably Sonic 3, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Still need to watch Sonic 2. I've not been. I've
It's
not
actually
watched.
good.
Well, my issue was that last time I watched a Sonic movie, we then went to do a global pandemic, so it's got a really bad taste in my mouth.
Was it?
Yeah, me and Aisha went to watch Sonic in the cinema, and then the world ended.
It didn't come out in 2020, did it? I thought it came out quite not recently, but well, yeah, I don't know. It feels like it was relatively new. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a COVID movie that came out, and then the world ended.
Wow. No, Sonic 2, it's all right.
There was a period of history. This. I'm so good at these links that I'm doing them before I even realise, where Sonic was the only film eligible for Academy Awards. Because it had been the only film of a cinematic release.
Wow. Amazing.
And I assume that's why they forced Tenet out into the cinema. Because they were like, something's got to win some fucking Oscars. Don't even know what won that year.
Let me go. Stop asking me these questions that I cannot sit and not know the answers to. Gosh.
Well, Sonic would be what, 2020 or 2019? What year was the pandemic? I always forget.
So 2020. So would it be 2021?
It'd be the 21 awards.
Oh, Nomadland won.
I've not seen Nomadland.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like Sam Rockwell and Frances McDormand in it.
Two legends.
Very good.
Sam Rockwell from Iron Man 2. I believe people comment on that being a very interesting Academy Awards. Because normally when you want to get your film nominated, you invite the Academy to a private screening of your movie.
What?
Where you fly them out to a city, you wine and dine them, they all leave with a $20,000 goodie bag, and you go, be really great if you would consider our film for an Oscar.
That's rank.
But because it was the pandemic and you couldn't fly people out and wine and dine them, the more interesting films got nominated for Oscars. You know what? Let's make a bet now, and I'll cut this if it doesn't happen. So the Deadpool 3 trailer might be coming out, but we're not going to stay up late to see it. If the Deadpool 3 trailer comes out tomorrow, Lauren, we will re-record an extra segment, which I will place here, talking about the Deadpool 3 trailer. Okay?
Okay.
And whether Taylor Swift is in it or not.
Oh, well, they won't put her in the trailer then, surely.
Oh no, you don't think you put Taylor Swift, the biggest musician in the world, in your trailer? They put fucking Hulk in the Thor Ragnarok trailer. They should have saved that for the fucking movie. How amazing would have that been in Ragnarok if fucking Hulk turned up? And you didn't know that was... It's the Darth Maul double lightsaber reveal. They ruined that in the fucking trailer. Should have kept that. Hello, everybody. It's 12 hours later from our last recording session. Apparently, I am some kind of media genius and correctly predicted that the Deadpool 3 trailer would drop during the Super Bowl.
I can't believe how early it dropped in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because we were still awake chatting.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Yeah, we said good night on the recording, and then I was like, I'll open Fred's just to settle down. I need 6 hours of internet before I can go to sleep. And it was the top post on Fred's.
Madness.
Yeah, not called Deadpool 3. What is it called, Lauren?
Deadpool and Wolverine, which was a surprise.
Which was a name of a series of Deadpool comics
Okay.
I actually got most of that collection behind me on the shelf, the Deadpool and Wolverine collection. This was back when they were still, testing the waters with Deadpool as a character. They knew he was kind of popular, but they were like, are people going to buy a Deadpool comic?
Yeah.
So they were bigger than your regular 30-page comics, but the front would be a Wolverine storyline, and then the back would be a Deadpool comic.
Oh, okay.
So they were bumpered together, basically.
All right.
Yeah. So, how did you think any of the trailer was funnier than the bubble scene from Wings.
I thought some of it was funny.
Yeah.
But my immediate thought when I started watching was, I'm just not that interested or bothered about this film. And then my next thought was, they have to do something to immediately get people to want to watch this film. And what do? Open the door to the TVA.
Yeah.
And now I'm so interested.
Yeah, they have clearly gone, what is the most popular Marvel stuff that isn't technically Marvel? Deadpool, Daredevil. Let's get those boys in here. It would not shock me if Venom 3 was in the MCU. Or if Venom 3 had Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to do something. They've teased really hard they were crossing universes or something, and then
Yeah.
I feel like they'll look really stupid if they don't manage to pull something off.
Yeah. If I had like one massive overarching compliment for the Deadpool trailer, it's that his suit is actually red. Like, not off red, not muted red, like red.
Blood red. And it's supposed to be like blood red.
Yeah, it's blood red. And that, like, if you were to open a page of a Deadpool comic, that's what colour his suit would be.
Yeah. No, I like the trailer. I think there's a lot going on. Hard to tell what's going on.
They've saved their Wolverine reveal. They've not shown him.
No.
But I'm also like, it's like the Hulk thing we were talking about. Why hide what this character looks like? He's on the fucking poster.
Seen him before.
Yeah, we've seen him before. He's on the poster.
But I suppose you're not seeing him in that yellow and blue suit, have you?
Only on the billions of leaks of the set of Wolverine.
I know what it looks like. I've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah, I've seen it on Instagram. I you basically can't open a piece of social media without seeing him in that suit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Interesting. I mean, Lauren literally just watched the trailer again, and I noticed that the Secret Wars cover is in the thing, which I wonder whether they're going to use. It'd be weird if they used Battle World for Deadpool 3. Like,
I don't really know, because some of it looks like he's in that place.
Oh, the pruned timelines.
Yes, it looks like he's in there, and then and then you see a clip of a monster that looks like, is it Goliath?
Oh yeah.
So there's a clip of a monster that tries to get something. So it looks like he's in there doing something, but no idea what. I quite like that they have not gone. It was only a teaser trailer, I suppose, but it's leaving a lot to be imagined rather than telling you everything that's going to happen.
How funny did you think it was that he had hair, Lauren?
That is really funny. It's so different to what you've ever seen Deadpool like, and it was just so like off-putting, because he looks so much older as well. I don't know if it's just the hair or in general, but he looked like he was about 45, 50.
Yeah, for a man who's covered in like cancer sores, basically, I'm like, you've not aged well, Deadpool. I noticed two things about the trailer: no Cable.
Okay, yeah.
And no Fire Fist.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
That's the little boy from Deadpool 2 that they save.
Oh, okay.
And they've clearly stepped away from... In Deadpool 2, it was like they were leaning into doing X-Force. Because at the end, they gave him his grey X-Force Deadpool suit. Looks like they've clearly gone, not doing X-Force, doing something else now.
So it's been a really long time since I've watched any Deadpool stuff. But I think there's a lot of characters, and there was a clip of someone from behind with a bald head, and I was like, is that Professor X?
Yeah. Yeah, again, they're in Deadpool 2. The X-Men are in the back of a room and they close the door on him or something.
So who knows at this point? I think there was like a lot of random characters that I'd never seen before, or
Yeah.
so yeah. For now, I'm invested. I'm interested.
There you go. Well, there's your one Marvel film of the year, Lawrence. You've got to enjoy it. Because we know you're not going to watch Madam Web, which is out in 2 days.
That's not a mark. Is it? Oh god, is it out already?
Well, it's February. It's a Valentine's Day film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me and Aisha will be there, front of cinema.
Are you actually going to go watch it?
No, of course. I could not convince Aisha to watch Madam Web.
I don't think you can convince anyone to watch Madam Web.
No, clearly the Madam Web marketing team are not even keeping Dakota Johnson on the reins about talking about it. Because she described the film as, it's like AI wrote your boyfriend's perfect movie. It's like, ooh, don't describe your film as being written like it was written by AI.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a joke on Saturday Night Live, but I can't imagine the writers and the producers of the film were, even as a joke, were happy that the lead actress was like, this film looks like it was written by AI.
Oh no, that's terrible.
So, will you be there day one watching Deadpool?
I don't know if it'll be day one, but I think I'll see it relatively soon as it comes out. I think Lee will want to be day one, maybe.
Yeah, that will be a having to avoid social media before watching it kind of movie.
Yeah, I think so. So it might be good to go and watch it day one.
Sorry, take two. I'm still a little bit hungover from my one beer I had last night. What would you like to see from that movie?
I don't really know. I'd like the whole TVA thing to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it just to be like a misdirect. Like, oh, look, here's a TVA, and then, oh, actually, we're going to, find the rest of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four turn up kind of thing. I'd like that to actually go somewhere, and I don't think you'll see Loki, but maybe if you saw, what's his face?
Phil Coulson?
No.
Morbius, I know who you mean.
Morbius, that's it. That would be nice, but who knows? That whole TVA place looked completely different with like different.
Yeah, it looked like a different version of TVA, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah. But so does that mean they're in a slightly different universe or a timeline?
What I would like from the movie for its opinions on cameos to be the same as Sam Raimi's in Doctor Strange 2, which is, if you're gonna make me put cameos in this movie, I'm going to kill every person you make me cameo. And Deadpool would be the perfect playground for that.
Yeah.
Because
I think we would know if there's loads of cameos in it. The amount of spoilers they've had from set and stuff. I don't really care if anyone else turns up.
No.
I just want this to be good and fun.
If you had to guess the plot synopsis might be out there, I don't know, but if I had to guess the plot, I assume Deadpool has to go to, because Deadpool is aware, and they seem to know that the TVA seems to know that he's aware. Deadpool has to go to like pruned timelines to collect a team of superheroes to do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a really good use of Deadpool, and a really good use. That would be an interesting use of multiverse stuff. That's not just like the multiverse exists. That was like my biggest disappointment in Spider-Man No Way Home. Was like, what you've done with the multiverse here has gone, there's multiple Spider-Man, and like that's the full stop. Nothing more interesting than that.
Yeah. Well, when I saw all like the Avengers on the thing on the TVA, my immediate thought was that Deadpool comic where he goes and kills everyone.
Oh, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, maybe you have to go to different timelines and like the branch timelines that have gone messed up and find like a rogue Captain America or something. Yeah,
that would be a really. See, that's the kind of cameo culture I care about, where it's like it's actually plot driven. Yeah. It's that thing that James Gunn talked about, where it's like cameos are pointless unless they do something. I think you mentioned you think he's really bitter about having to put Adam Warlock in his movie, or that version of Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It was very random. Like, oh, it's Adam Warlock, and then they're like, what the F is this Adam Warlock in the third film? So, are you excited for this Deadpool now?
I'm not. I'm no more excited than I was the other day. I'm just happy there's no TJ Miller in it, so I guess I'm like 5% more excited.
Is he not in it at all?
It wasn't in the bit at the beginning where they showed him with all his friends, so I assume. But she's not called Vanessa. Is she called Vanessa? His girlfriend's back, at least.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. No Domino either, actually. I liked Domino.
I can't remember who that was.
The lady who's really lucky, which is, like, I think the funniest superpower of all time. Is like... that is, like...
Oh, okay,
yeah. She had the, like, diamond on her eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good power. Actually, I've got the first issue that Deadpool ever appeared in over there, and he fights Domino in that issue, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, so when I go off about defending Deadpool, it's not just this weird, like, hill I've chosen to die on. I'm like, literally, I've got the first ever comic he appeared in. I've got all the original X-Force run that he's in. Like, yeah. I really do love that character.
Yeah.
So when I see it being mistreated, I'm a bit like... Oh. It's like watching someone play with your favourite toy and you're a bit like,
I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, but then part of me is also like, whether those films are good or bad or not, it doesn't fucking matter. The stories I like still exist.
That's true.
It just becomes harder to say out loud that I'm a Deadpool fan. Right, this is it. We're cutting back to what will be, I guess, the future for the audience listening, but to us will be the past. I was wrong by Taylor Swift wasn't in the trailer. I'm wrong, Josh. Don't mention Taylor Swift, Josh. Don't do it now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening today, audience. This has been a really fun one.
Thanks. I'm glad you're still here.
Yeah. God knows how long this episode has been.
But we appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah. I think this cuts to this, by the way, after we recommend watching Wings or not. I think this is it.
But we recommend watching Wings about an hour and 20 minutes. We only said that about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, God. And after the Deadpool 3 trailer talk as well. I can't believe that Taylor Swift's in the Lauren. I'm just planting
That's what a 13-minute flight was for.
Oh my God, 1-3. She loves the numbers 1-3. God.
Sorry about all this table slapping, by the way.
It's all right. I either cut it or I didn't.
Funny.
Look out, Laura. Look out for that bird.
Shit. Hit the patio door.
Well, great. Now I've got to find a bird flying sound and a bird hitting patio door sound. Oh, God. Isn't that right, my robotic assistant? Oh, he's silent, I guess. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, whatnot, please email them to us at themarvellouspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Our music was provided and made for us by the lovely Luke. Thank you so much, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Again, his band Caymans have got an album out for pre-order. Please pre-order it if you can. Physical copy, especially. The UK album charts are a dire wasteland of art. If they pre-order like 1,000, 2,000 albums, they're going to make top 10, guys. We can do that.
That's insane.
I've got my vinyl on pre-order. Be spinning that. Instantly ruining it by doing that on my record player. Ruining the vinyl and the record player in one go. you reckon if you gave one of your kids a vinyl or a cassette, they'd know what to do with it, Lauren?
Elliot's seen our vinyl player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would know how to do it.
Yeah.
But he asked like last year loads for us to get it down again and put them on. But he's I just don't trust him anywhere near it. Because it's one of those Crossley ones that like folds open. So like half the record's like hanging off the thing. So it's really easy to like knock it or whatever. So yeah. I love
Not
him,
for you, child.
He's too clumsy.
Right. Thanks so much for listening, audience. Thank you for putting up with me, Lauren.
Thank you for putting up with me. Thanks for suggesting to watch Wings. It was fun.
It's alright, anytime. Anytime you need an old movie to watch, I'm your guy. Right. This is the bit where the podcast ends. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the 2022 Oscars and I realised there's some films that I wanted to watch, so I'm going to write them down.
Yeah.
Licorice Pizza.
Oh, yes. What's he called? Anderson? Thomas?
Paul Thomas Anderson, yeah.
That's it. Starring one of the Haim sisters.
Yeah.
Do you like me some Haim?
I wouldn't go out of my way of listening to them, but I don't mind it when they're on the radio. That's how I feel about them.
We know who the true feminist is here, Lauren, don't we? I don't like that they did that version of Gasoline with Taylor Swift, but that's by the by. But their version
Stop
of
bringing Taylor Swift up in the podcast.
she shouldn't be so ingrained in culture, Lauren. She's going to be in Deadpool 3.
Oh, God.